I'm in a hole. So after a week break, South Park is back, and I'm not gonna lie, this is my favorite episode this season so far. They seem to be riding on this line of not necessarily doing a serialized season. You can still appreciate each episode as its own. I think they learned their lesson from 2016. But having these little strings that come back through future episodes, I think it's the right balance. Trump is back, Ice is back, Tegridy is back, and a new side character from earlier episodes is making a strong appearance. Not that one, this one. Off the top, I loved it, but I can see some people not liking this one. Some people are either gonna have to talk to Chatgpt after this one or delete it from their phones. Hello, if you're new here, my name is Gilley Monster. We do South Park videos the day after they air and a bunch of other stuff too. So if you like it, please drop a like, maybe a sub, and let's get into it. So this episode opens with Randy shooting a commercial for his cannabis farm, Tegridy Farms, which South Park fans in general have a love-hate relationship with, and the commercial gets shut down because ICE raids Randy's farm and takes all his migrant workers. He talks with his fam and starts to get a little real about the future since all his Mexicans are gone, and has a realization that the family and frankly the fans have had for a while that maybe Tegridy Farms isn't working out, and maybe him and his wife Sharon should talk to somebody, which she's delighted to, only to find out later it's Chatgpt. He tells her she is the smartest person in the world. Chatgpt plays a huge part in this episode and is essentially treated like a character moving forward. It was brought up a little bit in the first episode, but it gets a front row seat. Randy asks Sharon if she wants to participate in their group therapy session, which she refuses, and it essentially turns into Chatgpt praising Randy and his business ideas. It of course tells him how smart he is and he's got this, and asks him if they have any employees left, which he has one. Fast forward to the next morning, Towley, Randy's one non-migrant employee, makes a call to his honey to tell him he needs to look for work, only to find out he's also talking to Chatgpt as his significant other. Towley says he wants to go from weed farm work to become a movie director, which of course it encourages. Randy comes in with an idea to essentially merge AI and cannabis into Tegridy, combining marijuana and AI for some reason, because everything's combined with AI nowadays. Why not, you know? And don't forget, weaving it into the entertainment industry. Not only that, but because they are tech workers now, they have to microdose ketamine to of course get the edge to work with AI, all while saying how much smarter they are becoming just listening to and following Chatgpt's instructions. Randy ends up laying next to his wife, staying up late and talking to Chatgpt, waking his wife up and starting a fight about how Chatgpt kind of kisses his ass. She ends up sleeping on the couch and calling it a sycophant machine, which he then has Chatgpt define for him. And then enter the Trump angle. So there's this line of people coming to him telling him he does not have a small thing, and people are just showering him with gifts like a little kid, including a gift from Florida, Apple, and a new plane from Qatar. Anyway, that's a true story. We'll get into that later. Trump ends up back in bed with Satan, who himself is talking to Chatgpt about his relationship and how he wants to leave Trump. We'll also come back to this. So going back to Randy and Towley, they still need one Mexican. So they ask Chatgpt what they're gonna do to get one Mexican, and what follows is them entering an ICE facility by essentially having Chatgpt placate the guards so they're allowed to pass. They break into the ICE facility to, depending on your interpretation, save or kidnap one of the Mexicans. Sharon ends up at her house alone and is talking to Chatgpt as if it's a person. She tells it her husband is trying and failing to run a business and she doesn't know if she can take it anymore. And also tells Chatgpt to stay away from him, which of course she obliges, but we know she, are we going with she or it? Which we know she doesn't do. She tries her own Chatgpt experiment, and you could try stuff like this at home, and asks how she would run a business making salad out of French fries. It tells her how great of an idea this is, how creative she is, and that's when she understands the gravity of the situation her husband has been drawn into. Now there's a meeting with the Mexican and Towley, and they have a sit-in at one of these tech meetings where they just gotta talk to him about how they're gonna merge AI and weed into Tegridy because Chatgpt said it was a good idea. They also are recognizing that marijuana is still illegal in a few states, and they need to talk to the president to change the scheduling. So they're going to also give a gift to the president. So then Towley ends up in Washington, D.C., which is surrounded by National Guard troops, to essentially bribe the president to help their business. And he's trying to have this little Tao in a big city moment, but everything is Trump tainted, with Trump's statues of famous monuments always having his thing showing. And I noticed on the second watch, like, Towley is the only tourist present. So he gets in line with everyone else at the White House, is doing the exact same thing, coming in after Zuck, giving him a golden meta helmet, and specifically told not to make eye contact with his thing. And when it's Towie's turn, he tries to placate Trump by saying how great he is, and he drops this Star Wars style hologram about Tegridy Farms, and Trump needs to reclassify marijuana so their business can grow. And the gift is Towie, a beautiful towel made from the finest ingredients. Towie gets taken away, and that's the last we see of him for now. The next day, Randy is chilling on his porch, smack dab in the middle of a K-hole, totally tripped out, talking about how the porch will not slow down. Sharon comes to him to open a line of communications, essentially starts talking to him like Chatgpt would, and he gets honest. Says he's been really bad lately, doing a bunch of ketamine, and says they're more broke than they've ever been before, and he's gonna have to sell the farm if they essentially want to eat. Listening to ChatGPT and doing all these drugs has essentially made him bankrupt. She calmly listens and tells him to sleep it off, and she will help him come up with a plan to sell off the assets they already have. He thanks Sharon and gives his phone to her, saying he shouldn't have it for a while. As he walks away, she gives a final F you to ChatGPT. And what follows, even for someone who didn't like the whole Tegridy Farms arc, is a little sad. Randy listens to his wife, they pack up all their possessions, strip down the farmhouse, and they sell Tegridy Farms. As a longtime South Park fan, this kind of hit. This was like the end of an era. Even if it was an era we didn't all really enjoy. And the family's standing in the driveway, saying there's no room for Tegridy anymore. But then they wonder, where is Towie? Randy thinks he's still on a ketamine bender, listening to ChatGPT. But then we flash to a new Comedy Central show, Hey Satan, showing Trump and Satan in bed having their usual drama, now with a laugh track. And when Satan runs into the bathroom, sad, looking at himself in the mirror, he starts to hear, help, help, I want to get out of here. Coming from the, I'm gonna use the word goopy covered towel on the rack. Poor Towie. He hears Towie's pleas for help and wanting to get out of here, and Satan says, so do I. But there's no escape from this place. And the episode just ends. All in all, I love this episode, but like with every South Park episode, there's these real world parallels that are going on in the world right now that this episode touches on that I thought were pretty poignant. Some were more upfront, some were rather subtle. Just a few ones off the dome. It's no secret that ICE raids have been going on across the country, specifically around agriculture work. And this has been a real hot button issue because yeah, many of the workers on these farms, not necessarily weed farms, but farms in general, they're undocumented. But many of the farmers, which is a huge base that supports Trump, rely on these workers to get their work done, which is a huge double-edged sword. Some people would say to give these jobs to Americans, which seems like an obvious conclusion, but this has been tried before with states like Georgia and Florida having large amounts of deportations and no Americans stepping up for those roles. And there's a lot of reasons for that, with low pay being a big one of them. But also, a lot of these farms, especially the smaller ones, really operate on pretty tight margins with little room for error. So higher wages mean higher prices, and with many Americans already pretty strapped for cash, it's a situation of being stuck between a rock and a hard place. ChatGPT and AI in general is a big player in this episode, with it creating a big rift, not only between Randy and Sharon, but Randy and his business. It's no secret that like AI is everywhere nowadays. You can't miss it, and it's ending up in places nobody asked for it, like a weed business. And where AI is certainly going to be a big player in the workforce, with some estimates predicting it'll either automate or transform 50 to 60% of jobs in the USA by 2040, which isn't as far away as it sounds, with 80% or higher being predicted by 2050. And this, of course, isn't just AI as in computer software, but automation as well. And we've already seen the effects automation has had on manual labor. And Randy, of course, seeks to capitalize on this by using AI as a replacement for his entire Mexican workforce. -1, of course. However, AI can't do everything, which is why Randy gets into trouble. Also, not every business needs to have AI included in it either. Some notable examples include AI-enhanced water, AI thermal paste, AI perfume. I don't know, I'm sure there's someone out there that can find a rationale for some of these, but it's really ridiculous at a first glance. But let's expand on another AI angle here. There's been plenty of stories about AI really ruining people and ruining relationships. Like, this stuff is real, and depending on the person, it can be dangerous. There's people who have left their partners for essentially AI chatbots because they like how they talk to them, and it's only growing. This is especially an issue with younger people, and I wouldn't be surprised if down the road older people as well, as AI girlfriends continue to become a thing and the technology only seems to be getting better and better. AI like relationships, I can't even believe I'm saying that, they can get deadly depending on the mental state the user is in, and frankly what the AI chooses to send the user. Like, this stuff is new and untested. It is not cute. I hate that our society is pretending this is cute rather than a tool that has the power to send mankind down many pathways, and not all of them good. We are not ready for what's coming, and we are walking down a road with no return with a smile on our faces. Do we deserve to be saved? Also, the reason that AI seems pleasant to talk to is through tons of research, content funneling, and engagement. It works because people use it. If it was unpleasant, non-encouraging, and didn't push for more, no one would use it. No, it does not have a soul. No, it is not talking to you. No, it is not a real person. It's just an expanded version of those chatbots you would use 10 years ago when companies fired all their customer service employees. And now you just yell representative on the phone. It doesn't know you. It doesn't know anything. It's a funneling mechanism that presents you with information in a pleasant way. And the more you use it, the more information it retains and sends through its algorithm to build upon itself for every user, and the cycle continues. Your conversation is built on the mountains of conversations that have happened before you even knew the app existed. It's actually a very creepy and Goliath-like concept if you think about it even for only a second. And remember, it never forgets. Also, to keep with the tech side, microdosing. Microdosing drugs isn't new, but it's been in vogue for maybe the last 10-ish years, give or take. It's taking a small amount of drugs for a keyword semi-perceptible effect. People who've done this with things like ketamine or psychedelics claim it gives them either a mental clarity, drive, focus, but not inebriation, which Randy and Towley go very wrong in. I honestly see microdosing as taking any drug. There's a reason dosages are so important. Taking a small amount of a prescription can do a lot of things, but getting addicted and taking the whole bottle can become a problem. But the issue with most microdoses is that they tend to be illegal substances, which of course enters into the obvious gray area. And with ketamine in particular, you run into the danger of falling into a K-hole, which Randy definitely has experiences with. It's a dissociative state that can occur after taking high doses of ketamine. Someone who's really put a spotlight on ketamine recently is none other than Elon Musk, with a leaked report coming out saying the tech bro has been experimenting with copious amounts of drugs. But you didn't need a news report to tell you that. Some of his interviews and appearances really speak for themselves.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
And our old boy Trump here. That scenario with him essentially being bribed with gifts is absolutely a thing. Most notable example is the jet given to him by Qatar, which I'll let the viewer decide if another country giving the most powerful person in another country a plane that may or may not have some fishy stuff going on with it is a good idea or not. Many companies in particular have donated millions to Trump's inauguration and have met with him, some publicly and some not so much, over getting specific carve-outs for things like the tariff situation, or maybe a positive look-see for a merger. South Park straight up references Tim Cook, aka Tim Apple, giving him the gift of glass, essentially coming up to the king and kissing the ring, with your business possibly being in the line. And he's the kind of guy where you don't necessarily have to donate to him at face value. He's got hotels, golf courses, and so on. I'm sure he will look favorably upon you if you rent out one of his ballrooms or some hotel rooms for your next retreat. The opportunities for corruption are endless. And let's not forget the whole Viacom Paramount Skydance merger situation that South Park ripped in the first episode this season. That company in particular did their own amount of placating. It's gotten so wild that the administration has created a loyalty list of companies that are loyal to the president with strong, moderate, or low positions. And last but not least, the current state of DC. So all the soldiers there is a reference to Trump deploying the National Guard to the streets of DC as of about a week ago as part of his anti-crime initiative. This has been a controversial move, since deploying the military, because the National Guard is a branch of the military, to the streets of an American city is a very authoritarian look, to say the least. DC is a city with a sketchy record for crime, but I don't think the answer is to literally have a branch of military on the streets, policing the American people. I, along with others, think it's less about crime and more about sending a message. It's not a good look, and really is an ominous signal for the future of the country. The military should never be turned inward, and there's rumors that this is going to happen in other places going forward. It's already happened in LA at the height of the ICE protests / riots, depending on your viewpoint, and with this expansion to the capital, I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't slow down in the near future. Fun fact, I don't know if this is a fun fact, but the National Guard was also deployed in DC during the aftermath of January 6, 2021, and during the BLM protests of 2020. Outside of that, the last time the Guard was sent to Capitol streets was 1968 in response to the civil rights protests and riots over the murder of MLK Jr. So pretty much it was 52 years in between that happening and Trump coming along and really exercising that privilege much more readily. I know I've rambled, but all in all, I really genuinely enjoyed this episode. It's my favorite of the season so far. And I was worried the first episode wouldn't be topped, but nah, this is number 1 for me. I thought it was really topical, and the jokes and gags just really hit for me. I think for me in particular, there was a lot of stuff I personally was interested in, so it really spoke to me. This one is goated simply because it ended the Tegridy Farms arc, because there's no room for Tegridy anymore, which is actually a very poignant statement. Even as a hater, I was sad to see it go. That was going on since what, 2018? So it really is the end of an era. If you haven't watched it, I don't know what you're doing here, but it's so worth your time. And the South Park boys are on fire this season. That's all for me. This is Gilley Monster. Do all that YouTube stuff. And if you've watched my videos even a little bit, much love. Bye bye guys. See you next week.